Hi everyone, this is Sunette, and in this video we are continuing with part 2 of specifically getting to know the weight, the mass of our emotions. And many may ask, but why is something like that relevant or important? How would knowing that, or even being in tune with that, what I mean by this is where you have become more sensitive in yourself, your awareness, and your relationship with your physical body, to such an extent that you can, in any given moment, assess, okay, what is the weight of your emotions within you that you've become more consciously aware of, or more physically aware of. Just as I said, also more consciously aware of, more physically aware of, it just reminded me, that we're all maybe aware of our emotions more on a conscious level, not actually realizing that you are in fact more aware of your emotions on a physical level than you give yourself credit for. And what I found as well in this process of teaching people to become aware of their minds, their thoughts, their emotions, feelings, inner experiences in their physical body, is that I'm also assisting and supporting them to, align into a relationship with themselves and their bodies in such a specific way to actually realize that that relationship or connection has always been there, but have just not been quite aware of it. So I'm assisting and supporting with nurturing a relationship with yourself, your mind, and your body that's in fact always been there, but has not as of yet been resourced to the extent that it can, in assisting and supporting you to deal with your emotions, your own thoughts, your own inner experiences, with so much more self-empowerment and control, and really being able to lead and guide yourself into your best or utmost potentials. Your best and utmost potentials meaning, I sometimes find that in moments where I'm in a conversation or discussion with another person, and I suddenly have these reactions coming up inside of me, these negative emotions, these negative thoughts and inner dialogue. And I sometimes think to myself, where on earth is all of this coming from? Like I sometimes don't recognize myself in my own thoughts, my own things that can come up inside my head, and my emotional reactions. And I found so many people who kind of suppress that part of themselves and try and deny or ignore, the fact that they feel like they don't have control of their own thoughts and emotions. And that's quite a hell, a personal hell to live in and live with. And even just doing that has, extreme effects on your own inner health and your physical health and your general life health, when it comes to your most intimate relationships with yourself, your mind, your body, and people that are in your world. So everyone, this process of becoming aware of your emotions, and even with starting with something as like the weight of your emotions, as much as it is about the weight, the mass of your emotions, it is also about, the weight, the mass that we build up inside of ourselves and our relationship with ourselves, with the extent to which we can suppress and repress our own thoughts and emotions just because we don't understand them. So here, with the purpose of who I am and what I do, is also to assist and support everyone in gaining a sense of self-trust again within yourself, your own mind, a sense of control, a sense of that self-empowerment, to not have to live inside yourself with your own mind in constant fear, worry, distrust, conflict. All right, so to understand even your own mind is to also understand the physics of it, the nature of it, the science of it. And for me, I have found it worked miracles when it came to, focusing more on the science, the physics, the nature of my mind, to be able to more objectively sometimes step back from my own thoughts or my own emotions and my own experiences, and be able to understand them a lot better, understand myself a lot better, and within that realize I have the potential and ability to decide, who I am and what I'm going to accept and allow inside myself and my life and whatnot. So here, continuing again with the weight, the mass, and why that is important, is that the importance of that extends so much further, deeper, and beyond than just the weight and mass of emotions. Okay, but primarily, it will assist and support you to be able to identify when you have allowed yourself to, over an extended period of time, participate in an emotional state inside yourself, your thoughts, your way of thinking, your way of being. And I mean, what I've literally felt, like, let's take my example of this being bothered with myself. Because of it being kind of a new emotion that I have been dealing with because of circumstances in my life changing, responsibilities and obligations changing. I've never been introduced to certain situations in my everyday life that I've been confronted with recently. And within all of that, I am also introduced to new parts of myself, new aspects of myself, new experiences within myself, and therefore also new emotions. And this had been the first time that I'd been introduced with this being bothered, irritated with myself. And what I've found with being introduced to new aspects of myself, experiences within myself, and emotions, is that it does overwhelm me. And before I know it, I'm kind of caught up in it. And like for now, it's already been in the last 7-10 days that I've kind of been in this state, this experience of being bothered, that kept on coming up inside of me. And because it had already extended to 7 to 10 days, where it kind of subconsciously triggered, and then just inside myself in these very subtle moments, subtle yet frequent moments of being bothered, but then I'd be so occupied or busy with running everywhere and towards everything and everyone else that I wouldn't actually really notice or take the time to realize, how long this being bothered with myself has really been bothering me. And now over the last 7 to 10 days, the consequence has started seeping through into myself and my body, where that weight of being bothered with myself, the weight of that energy, I can literally feel in the center of my body, and also at the back, in my back, by my spine, close to my kidneys. It had ventured up into my neck and my spine. That being the dominant emotional energy that I've frequented in the last few days. So, the weight of our emotions that accumulates, the more you allow yourself to participate in it. We think that, like with me, like I was only bothered in random moments throughout the days in the last 7 to 10 days. But when we forget about it, we think that, the emotional impact of that reaction just disappears. But then when it becomes a pattern of reacting to being bothered, for example, with myself, that energy actually has a memory. The emotional energy of being bothered has a memory that exists within itself and in our bodies. And now, so what happened over the last 7 to 10 days, the more I reacted in being bothered, the more that bothering energy started building and building and building, like almost creating a snowball effect. And this is also something that emotional energy does. It not only builds, but it spreads. Because now you're introducing this new emotional energy pocket into yourself and your body. Now the body has to deal with it. So your body is kind of starting to breathe it in and trying to process it, and in a way make space for it, because now you're kind of pushing this emotional energy into yourself, your body, and it's building and it's accumulating. And that is what also contributes generally to a pressure, a stress within the body, where you feel like your muscles are becoming tight, sore, painful. So a really good massage will do wonders for you. But there's more specifically in relation to an emotional energy. So here, just some sharings in relation to the consequential effect of your emotions gaining weight inside yourself and your mind, and the pressure and stress that that creates in your body, and kind of also in your thoughts, because this being bothered point inside of me had become more and more intense as well over the last 7 to 10 days. So the more you participate in it, the more the energy builds, and then the more intense everything becomes inside yourself. And as I said, becomes a snowball effect that eventually just crash. And and then finally, there was that moment where the energy released inside myself, like almost having a mini breakdown. And then that's the moment where you have to go, wait a minute, what have I done here? What have I accepted and allowed here? How have I built and accumulated this emotional energy within myself? All right, everyone, we'll go to here for this video, and we'll continue more in the next. Thank you very much.